So I guess it all started with the X Factor when I first applied. It was back in 2006. So at the time, I remember my mum saying to me, "We're going to Manchester. Would you like to go?" So it was an open auditions. The queues were massive, horrendous. How much of a queue we went through and the massive lines. So that was that. We got in the queue. It was a long wait, and we ended up in Manchester Arena. And once in Manchester Arena, I was obviously given my X Factor ticket. So this was my X Factor number, which was used. And we had to stand up in a line, and we had to sing. So we had to sing for less than a minute, and we got a golden ticket. That was it. We got a golden ticket to say if we was through to the next round. This was the golden ticket I had to get through. So then I was taken upstairs to another room. I got through that round, and I was the last one to come down. And when I come down, I had my next day ticket to the actual X Factor judges audition. And I remember being really excited. The next day was a big audition for me. And then before I knew it, I was faced with more producers. A lot of people think you go straight to the judges, and they see you, but it's not. Obviously I went through 2 before, and then this day, after thinking we was going to the judges, we went to another room, and we had to go through another set of producers before we actually got to see any judges at all. So it was very important to get through this round. I think if I remember rightly, that round was a bit, probably not my best, but I was lucky enough to get through to the judges and see them. So, everything was, I think I was one of the last ones to go through. I was very nervous, very excited at the same time. It does feel like such a long time ago now that it all mounts up into some sort of big blur. Stood on the X. Was a really surreal experience, I would say, but really excited to see them. So went into them, and I sang "Because the Night," which was one of my favourite songs at the time, which is used a lot now for that reason. Yeah, so I remember Louis saying, it's a really hard, tough business, can you do it? And I was like, yeah, I can definitely do it. I'll put 110% into it. Just give me this chance and I'll prove to you all. And I remember that was it. Louis was like, yes, you're free. Simon, I remember his words were, "There's something I like about you. I don't know what it is. So at this point in time, I'm going to say no." It's like, great. That really helps me. I want to prove to Simon, that in the next round, I can do this. I was 17 at the time, so it was such a long time ago. Anyway, I remember coming out of the audition room, really, really excited, jumping around. It was an amazing, surreal experience, and I was so happy to be a part of it.
Because the night belongs to lovers.
It's true.
So anyway, after that stage, I went home. I remember telling a lot of people I was very excited, couldn't wait to tell everybody. I remember having a little party as well, which was cute, and invited everyone around, and we were singing, and everyone was congratulating me, bringing me cards, wishing me luck for the next round, all my friends and family. And then obviously the next round was getting to boot camp, a really amazing experience. And when I got there, I remember being one of the first people there. And we was there all day. I was chatting to all the contestants, everyone was getting to know each other. And then we had dinner, and I remember being, at the end of the day, there were so many interviews. And a lot of it was either with cameras. I didn't actually have any interviews with Kate Thornton at the time, or Ben Shepherd, which kind of give you that feeling of, okay, so why have I not had those interviews? Why haven't I been chosen to do a big interview like that? And then you kind of think to yourself, you know, a little bit longer, you think, maybe that's why, you know, you're going to be shoved out soon. So that's kind of what's going through your head. I remember going up in groups of 4, and I was in the last group to go up. So I remember going up with 3 girls, and we all had to step forward, and we all sang in front of Simon Cowell and Sunita. And, you know, we had a few minutes to sing. It was probably less than a minute again. So you had the hand up, and then you had to step back. So that was your audition over and finished. So you didn't know anything, they didn't give you any comments, you just got through it, and then you went out the room once the last person sang. So I remember going down the stairs, and we was all gathered into this room, and we was taken up again very quickly in groups of 5, and we all got taken up one by one into the room. We had to stand into a line, and then we were told that this group wasn't through. I remember coming back down the stairs. I didn't have time to have an emotion. I just remember thinking, right, I need to get my stuff, I need to get onto this bus, because there was a bus which was just basically get on. You know, our suitcases, the ones that were out, were just chucked out onto the road, or outside of the door, and we had to find it, grab it, and then just get on this bus. As far as they were concerned, you were out, we wasn't needed, it was over, you know? I remember getting on the bus, and that's when it hit me, and I remember thinking, oh God, I'm out. This dream of mine is finally over. You know, what do I do now? I remember calling my mum and telling her, you know, I'm out, and she was a bit like more worried about making sure I got on the bus and making sure I got back to the hotel. And the X Factor was over 10 years ago now for me, so it was a long, long time ago. It was an amazing experience.
So after the X Factor, I went home and I started doing my own thing and touring around, you know, my hometown, doing, you know, promotions and getting people to hear me, see me, you know, see what I'm all about and get into the music industry.
And then I entered this competition called the FX Factor, which was actually in Devon, which that is where I found the manager that I was going to be under their contract. They were called Star Promotions. I remember having my phone call with my mum and then a meeting to discuss contracts and, you know, percentages and all of that sort of stuff, which was a big, big, big exciting experience and a big time for me.
So I got to go on tour with the likes of East 17, the Cheeky Girls, and I also got to go on a mini tour with the X Factor finalists, which was one of my biggest highlights. And I got to meet them all, and then I had to come out and sign loads of autographs and stuff. It was absolutely amazing. So I remember going on tour with them as a support act, which was amazing. I remember having all these photo shoots and stuff for the promo.
Recording my own original track, and also, you know, like I said, going to loads and loads of different events, and it was pretty much one of the best times of my life. I really enjoyed myself. So basically, you know, to sum up my X Factor experience, it was definitely amazing. Would I do it again? I possibly would do it again, depending on the auditions. It isn't something that I look at now on telly and get the same buzz that I used to when I used to watch it when I was very, you know, a lot younger than I am today. But I think the X Factor is a fantastic platform for anyone. You know, my experience was really, really good. The only regrets I have was not being a bit more out there and a bit more open. But I was 17 years old, you know, I was still learning and not a lot had happened to me in that time, so emotions were all the same. But anyway, I mean, like I said, to sum up my X Factor experience, it was brilliant, and I would recommend it to anyone.